Hello and welcome to Iran Weekly News. Iran protests have been taking place over the past month in the dried up bed of the Zayanderud River. Anti-regime protests in Iran over the drying up of a river turned violent as riot police and security agents opened fire, shooting citizens during the clashes with the defenseless and peaceful demonstrators, and have arrested hundreds of people in the past week. There is evidence that the security forces have targeted protesters with firearms to cause serious injuries. Dozens of protesters with eye injuries are currently in hospitals. According to news, homes of suspected protesters are being raided and yet more detained. The riverbed has been the rallying spot for farmers and their supporters from across Isfahan province protesting about drought and water mismanagement since November 9, 2021. Even though drought and water deficiencies are the cause, but they are protesting against the theocratic regime of the Islamic Republic, informed sources told the ICBPS news team. Now, a high security situation is posed in the province and armed security forces have been deployed to control the streets. A massive loud explosion was heard near to Iran's main nuclear facilities in Natanz on Saturday, December 4th, which had previously been targeted by sabotage attacks by state-run media claimed it was part of a controlled test. A major explosion and flash of light in the sky were reported on Saturday in Beirut, 20 kilometers from where the enrichment facilities of the Islamic Republic are located. According to Hazy News, earlier reports speculated a surface-to-air missile defense system targeted a hostile object, most likely a drone. The Islamic authorities immediately ordered the evacuation of two villages nearby the Natanz facilities. In a series of tweeting reactions to the news, the Israeli journalist Eddie Cohen, closing to Israeli security circles, wrote on his account and raised the question of whether we hit the Natanz missile defense system or bypassed the Russian long-range surface-to-air missile system. Following the explosion, a nasty odor filled the area and the telephone and electricity system were out of order in some areas. Noor News, closer to Iran security forces, confirmed an air defense missile was fired and exploded in the sky, but claimed it was part of a rapid reaction test. Satellite images released on social networks indicate no changes in the core area to suggest any forms of explosion and the likes. The mountain area in the south was checked as well, and nothing there either. Did the Mossad or someone attempt to sabotage Iran's nuclear facilities at Natanz for the third time since July 2020? The question that has caught the attention of experts is if the Mossad or someone tried to sabotage Iran's nuclear facilities at Natanz for the third time since July 2020. In an exclusive report, the Jewish Chronicle says 90% of the planned centrifuges were destroyed, putting the complex out of action for up to 9 months. The Jewish newspaper has revealed the National Intelligence Agency of Israel, Mossad, recruited a team of Iranian nuclear scientists to carry out a covert operation which blew up one of the regime's most secure nuclear facilities earlier this year. According to the newspaper, up to 10 scientists were approached by Israeli agents and agreed to destroy the underground 8,000 centrifuge hall at Natanz in April, though they believed they were working for international dissidents group. Some of the explosives they used were dropped into the compound by a drone and quietly collected by the scientists, while others were smuggled into the high security facility hidden in boxes of food on a catering lorry. The ensuing destruction caused chaos in the highest echelon of Tehran leadership. It demolished 90% of the centrifuges at the nuclear plant, delaying progress towards a bomb and putting the key complex out of action for up to 9 months. The Iranian real currency dipped on the weekend. The Iranian currency has remained above historic lows after reports indicated talks with world powers to revive the so-called Iran deal may have run into difficulties. The Iranian rial has crashed to record low prices against the dollar, and it hit a record low to dollar again as the currency stumbled and fell to a record low level 13 months ago. Clashes erupted between IRGC guards and Taliban forces near the Afghanistan-Iran border. Multiple videos on Wednesday showed Taliban troops mobilizing as gunfire also can be heard, while one shows forces from the Iranian territory firing artillery shells in response to Taliban fire. Iran's border checkpoints were seized by terrorist Taliban forces as well as casualties were reported. Afghan Amaj news agency reported on Wednesday several Iranian checkpoints had fallen into the hands of Taliban forces. Although the hours of conflict between Tehran and the Taliban is over, the details and reasons are not yet clear. By quoting a Venezuelan lawmaker, Reuters reported on Thursday, December 2, 2021, a cargo of Iranian condensate intended for Venezuela's state-run oil company, PDVSA, the fourth delivery this year, will discharge in coming days at the country's main oil port. The Islamic Republic last year began providing PDVSA with condensate that is used to make the South American nation's extra heavy oil exportable. This year, PDVSA and the National Iranian Oil Company signed a swap deal that formalized the exchange of Venezuelan crude for Iranian condensate. The swaps occurring amid U.S. sanctions on both nations and their oil industries have allowed PDVSA to ramp up crude output this autumn to levels close to those of early 2020. Since September 11, 2021, Iranian monarchists of Vienna, united from all parts and regions of their homeland despite dialect differences, the patriotic Iranians are protesting in support of the countrymen inside Iran who risk their lives and are taking to the streets and demanding a regime change in Iran continues. Their wish is a return of freedom and democracy to the Iranian nation. Let's take a look at some of the videos.
Iran is not for sale. Iran is not for sale. Iran is not for sale. China, get out of Iran. 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 Mollazim teröristler, mollazim faşistler. Mollazim teröristler, mollazim faşistler. Rejim change in Iran, molla out of Iran. 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 Rejim change in Iran.
And that was all for now. I'm Kate, and thank you for the privilege of your time.